Timeless Heroes, a superhero audio project. A view of the evening skyline of an American metropolis. This is Seattle, in the beginning of the second half of the 21st century. Neon lights with Asian influence and still the Space Needle as a landmark. A modern skyscraper can be seen. In front of it is a company sign, Wolf Enterprises. The lobby of the company looks very noble and modern with a mix of marble and glass. In the center, there's a modern, semi-oval reception desk. A security guard sits in front of the flat 3D monitors and checks each floor, while another security guard comes around the corner with 2 cups of coffee. He sets 1 cup down next to his colleague and then takes a sip from his own cup.
Thank you.
The second guard sits down as well, picks up a pad from the tray, scrolls a bit through the security protocols, and takes another sip from his coffee. Meanwhile, in the office of Wolf Enterprises CEO Adam O'Brien, a spacious room with technical applications, a small conference table and a large desk can be seen. The office has a glass facade through which the illuminated city skyline of Seattle can be seen. Adam O'Brien, a man in the late 30s, sits at the conference table. He wears a fashionable suit with dark red appliques, slightly curly short hair, and stylish sunglasses. These sunglasses protect his blind eyes. Apparently, O'Brien is talking over a speakerphone.
I hope our service met your expectations, Kurosawa-san. The shipment will be sent out as soon as possible. I trust the issue has been resolved.
I am optimistic. Thank you on behalf of Inoshiro-san.
Arigatou gozaimasu. As always, it's been a pleasure doing business with you.
Sayonara, O'Brien-san.
A short beep is heard as O'Brien leans back for a moment. Shortly after, Jason, a 14-year-old boy, steps through the door. He is dressed casually and has a pad in his hand. O'Brien gets up from his seat and checks for his briefcase, which is on the conference table.
How did the data transfer with the new hypercrystals go?
It exceeded our expectations.
Very good, Jason.
O'Brien nods thankfully.
I'm tired. Let's go home.
Jason picks up O'Brien's briefcase and makes his way toward the exit door. O'Brien follows him with a certain calm. The light automatically turns off as O'Brien is about to leave the room, and the majestic skyline is reflected in the picture window. O'Brien and Jason come out of the elevator in the entrance area of Wolf Enterprises and walk past the 2 guards.
Have a good evening, Mr. O'Brien.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Both guards make themselves comfortable at the semi-oval reception table. A small television is on, showing the live broadcast of a football game. Hidden from them, a small being called an abnormality sneaks into the foyer as the door is about to close again after O'Brien and Jason walk out. The creature is about 20 centimeters tall, snake-like, and appears to be composed of pieces of flesh. It crawls towards the 2 guards and opens its mouth. Suddenly, a stinger comes out of it and hits one of the 2 guards. As he collapses, the second guard is startled, but before she can react, the abnormality shoots another stinger and the second guard slumps down as well. Her cup of coffee drops on the ground and shatters. The abnormality continues to move forward toward the elevators at the back of the entrance area. Stopping in front of one of the elevators, the creature jumps for the switch, whereupon the elevator door opens directly. The abnormality crawls into the elevator and jumps at the button marked 49. The door closes and the elevator goes up. The elevator door opens at the 49th floor and the abnormality moves toward the laboratory on the opposite side. The abnormality stops in front of one of the glass door labeled laboratory and jumps forcefully against the safety glass a few times until it shatters. The creature continues to move and crawls into the laboratory. It passes all sorts of technical equipment, lab tables, and storages. At the end of the lab are several display cases with various treasures from different countries. The abnormality stops in front of one of them. In this display case is a dark blue artifact, about the size of a fist, decorated with unusual, very strange-looking runes. The artifact seems to radiate blue and red from its body. The abnormality opens its mouth again, but now shows a kind of precocious and sprays a vicious liquid which melts the glass of the display case and exposes the artifact. The creature jumps over the shelf and grabs the artifact, puts it in its mouth, and disappears towards the elevator. Later in the evening, O'Brien and Jason enter a high-tech, posh, and not inexpensive furnished house. A small white dog awaits them barking and comes up to Jason. Jason is pleased, bends down to the dog and begins to pet it.
Hey, Kenny!
Ooh, looks like somebody is happy.
The man's best friend.
Jason continues to pet Kenny, and after the dog has quieted down a bit, O'Brien, who has taken off his jacket in the meantime, turns to Jason.
Are you hungry, Jason?
I'll make myself a sandwich. Thanks.
The phone rings.
O'Brien?
Good evening, Mr. O'Brien. It's Miller. Sorry to disturb you so late, but a security alarm went off.
Security alarm? What happened?
Something was stolen and 2 security guards were found dead.
Jason looks up curiously from Kenny to O'Brien.
I'll be right there.
O'Brien and Jason take off. Kenny follows Jason. At the same time, in front of the art house, the entrance area of this theater in New York's Broadway style can be seen together with a poster of the night's performance. It shows Mara Thunder wearing a burlesque outfit with the headline Mara Thunder in Hard to Win. Inside the dressing room of the art house sits Mara Thunder at a makeup table decorated with a variety of flowers. She is tall, slim, blonde, and attractive. Beside her, Mara looks at a young woman sitting comfortably on the couch. It is Thunder's right-hand man, Elijah. Her dark-colored hair is tied up. She wears a rockin' outfit, as well as a few tattoos and nerd glasses.
What's going on, Elijah?
Why aren't you looking at the greeting cards?
I already know what's written on them.
It just takes a couple of minutes. Also, it would be nice if you would take maybe 1 or 2 less pictures then. We still have to be at the embassy at 10 o'clock.
Let it be my concern. My fans want me, so they get me.
Thunder gets up from her seat. She looks at herself in the mirror, but she's not satisfied.
Shit. My style used to be better. In fact, it's now ugly. You want me to go out like this? You want me to be embarrassed? Elijah, what's wrong with you?
Thunder's phone rings loudly. Elijah walks over to the table, picks it up, and answers it. She's annoyed. She turns to Thunder.
Mr. O'Brien would like to speak with you.
In the Marris, a cozy rustic pub, we see Cannon, the bartender, a hulk of a man who hands a bottle of beer to each of the 2 lanky nerds with glasses sitting at a table.
Here.
Thanks.
Thanks.
They look over to a table where a somewhat strong, athletically built woman with long, open dark hair is drinking a pint of beer. The woman's name is Bera.
I'm telling you, there's something exciting about her.
You are the only one who thinks so. Do you remember last time?
I'm telling you, it's going to be different with this chick.
Please, good luck. I bet you $50.
Get the money out already.
Both shake hands, then the first nerd stands up and walks toward Bera. He sits down with her.
Hi, you're alone as well?
You see anyone else here?
No, I'm Bernd. And you?
Bera.
Bera? Unusual, but beautiful.
Viking name.
Yes, exactly. Viking. Viking?
Bera's cell phone rings. She picks up the phone, looks at it in a strange way. Bernd waits first, but then takes the cell phone away from her and answers it.
Mr. O'Brien?
Bera takes her cell phone back. She stands up quickly. Bernd then realizes that Bera is 2 meters tall while she storms out of the pub. Bera is standing by the road in front of Mary's pub. Thunder drives up dynamically in her red convertible sports car. Bera gets in somewhat clumsy because of her size.
Odin salutes?
It's about time you get your license. Then I won't always have to pick you up.
Thunder speeds off. Bera leans back. Her view wanders to the skyscrapers and into the sky, which fills with clouds. Suddenly, a raindrop hits her face.
Ah, Viking weather.
No way.
As the drops become more, Thunder reaches toward the sky while driving. The rain around the car gets heavier, but within about 5 meters of the car, the sun continues to shine.
You and your weather manipulating. Not everything is a blessing from the gods.
But a lot of things.
Thunder puts on sunglasses and turns up the music on her stereo. Later at the office of Adam O'Brien in the Wolf Enterprises building, Thunder and Bera arrived. O'Brien sits at his desk. Jason stands next to him. Meanwhile, Kenny scurries around the office, sees Bera and Thunder entering the room, and runs to Bera to sniff her leg. Bera looks at him grimly, and then Kenny goes over to Jason. In the background, the city skyline of Seattle can be seen in the large picture window, its lights now dim.
I hope this is important, Mr. O'Brien. You just blew my gig.
Have a seat, please. I believe it'll become clear to you in a moment.
Thunder and Bera sit down. Jason shows a surveillance video in 3D. It shows the abnormality entering and crawling through the lab.
Wolf Enterprises was broken into just over an hour ago.
What was stolen?
Meanwhile, the recording shows the abnormality destroying the display case and stealing the artifact from it.
The artifact of the ancients. 2 guards are dead.
Bera sees the artifact in the video recording and is shocked.
Ja, Vliadrit.
Thunder looks at her questioningly.
To what extent are you familiar with the time experiments which we conducted on the relic we found on the coast of Karlskrona?
Adam O'Brien gets only questioning faces.
The magical artifact of the ancients. It is very powerful.
Yes, exactly. Although I believe it's nothing more than a structural tachyon pulse launcher. Jason, would you please open the MJ12 file?
Jason opens another hologram showing the spinning artifact in close-up.
Pretty bizarre art. Is that what makes it so valuable?
Jason opens a third 3D window. The artifact is presented with some data and a cracked drawing.
Let me give you a brief explanation. My father, Magnus O'Brien, discovered the artifact during a research expedition. It quickly became clear that what it was supposed to be able to do, it could do. However, it took several failed attempts before it finally worked 4 years ago. A wormhole was created. This wormhole, a break in time, so to speak, brought Bera into our time. Unfortunately, it also changed my life. The wormhole wasn't stable. Instead, it caused problems.
O'Brien raises his sunglasses during his last sentence so that everyone could see his blind white eyes and the burn scars around them. Meanwhile, Jason shows several 3D photos which display the extent of the destruction in the research labs of Wolf Enterprises.
Jesus.
Bera seems to have recognized the artifact.
What can you tell us about the artifact, Bera?
Bera nods. She stands up and walks towards the spinning 3D image of the artifact.
Natas. If it gets into the wrong hands, then may Odin have mercy on us.
Natus? Who or what is Natus?
Natas is evil. Primordial evil. I have defeated him before, but it was a victory that required far too many sacrifices.
Bera remembers her past.
It was then, how do you say? Century 11 after the Jesus man. We were on one of our noble Viking ships, 20 of the best men and women of our people in full battle gear. And I, as their high priestess in the middle, dressed in leather armor, fur, and my battle axe. The waves of the sea made our ship rock violently. It stormed and thundered without cease. Again and again, lightning could be seen on the horizon. We approached a small island with the ship. It was very barren and rocky, and covered with snow and ice. We docked at an icy shore. We crossed with 4 boats and entered the mysterious island. Even then, there were rumors of something ancient and primordial evil. We called it Natas, the dark god of the ancients. It was not long before we discovered a huge tentacle god statue inside the island. Gruesome to look at and terrifying in its form. Kneeling in front of the statue was a shaman, gaunt and bald. He was in the process of sacrificing a bound naked woman lying before him, with a dagger to his tentacle god. Under my leadership, our warriors rushed to the shaman to stop him. However, he changed his incantation rite and manifested 5 ghostly dragon-like figures. These attacked, and a bloody battle ensued. The shaman gained time and completed his ritual, killing the naked woman. I only saw this out of the corner of my eye, full of panic, but after I was able to take out one of the dragon spirits with my battle axe and it dissolved again, I ran with all my might to the shaman and the tentacle god statue. The battle raged on around me. The storm was increasing. We suffered our first casualties at the hands of the dragon spirits. Above the tentacle god statue, a white portal opened. The shaman rejoiced and turned toward me just before I could reach him. I faced him and his magical powers for the all-important battle, while the white hole above us grew larger and larger. A first tentacle crawled out of the hole and reached for the tentacle god statue. I managed with all my might to push the shaman aside and run to the statue with my battle axe raised. I struck with full force and the statue actually cracked. The shaman somewhere behind me must have drawn his dagger and jabbed it deep into my left side. A horrible pain went through me, but I mustered my last strength. I knocked out the shaman standing behind me with my left fist and took a last swing with my battle axe. The statue was hit and broke in two. It actually collapsed in on itself. The tentacle disappeared jerkily back into the white hole, but at the same time, 2 things took place. The debris of the tentacle god statue fell on me, while the dimensional gate also fell down. Out of the corner of my eye, I could only see that my brave comrades had defeated the dragon spirits in the meantime, and then it became dazzlingly bright. Only with all our strength could we prevent Nata's arrival.
Jason, O'Brien and Thunder are paying close attention as they listen to Bera.
And then I woke up in a world that was no longer mine. Just learning your language was a challenge, and then this technique.
More reasons to kick some asses.
Natas must not come into this world. He brings death and destruction.
We don't need to discuss it any further. I think I know where we should start. Jason, please search all public and non-public archives for any information related to the name Natus.
Sure, boss.
Jason uses the fourth window and starts a search with a gesture, which then displays various images in rapid succession. Meanwhile, Thunder points to the first 3D window with the frozen image of the break-in with the abnormality and the destroyed display case.
I think you should take care of that thing there.
Jason magnifies the image with a simple gesture, bringing the creature into focus. Suddenly, a soft ping echoes through the room.
That was quick. I found something on Natus.
Thunder and Bera look intently at Jason, while O'Brien continues to sit in his desk chair. After another hand gesture by Jason, an ancient drawing appears in the fourth 3D window, containing some elements of the Viking Age. Next to it is written some information. Thunder, Bera, and Jason look at the info.
What does the file say about Natus?
Nothing more than that Natus is a deity of the ancients. Wait a minute. There's the connection to the artifact.
He zooms in on the armor of Natus, which has the same runes that are on the artifact. He demonstrates this by pulling the image of the artifact toward him with a wave of his hand and sliding it over the image of Natus so that the runes begin to glow, congruently, one on top of the other.
The runes are identical.
So the artifact is from the time of the ancients. That much we knew. But now, we know it's somehow related to this Natus. What else do we have?
Jason starts another search in the first 3D window with the abnormality zoomed in.
I'm searching all files, folders, and other possibilities for this thing.
Is this going to take long?
It can take a while, but I'm not sure.
I think Bera and Thunder can head home for now. If we discover anything new, I'll give you a call. One thing's for sure, though. We'll remain on high alert.
Very good. Just checking in.
Thunder and Bera walk out of the office. In the hallway outside of Adam O'Brien's office, the door closes automatically behind Bera and Thunder.
Can you take me home?
Do I look like a cab?
What is a cab?
You don't know what a cab is? Stupid question. Of course not. I used to give you a ride. But please don't ball those awful Nordic songs again while we're driving.
I like to sing.
Then sign up for Music Superstar.
Meanwhile, in the White Room, the White Lady's lair, Dr. Pretorius Morden sits nervously smoking on one of two white armchairs placed in a thoroughly white room with no design elements. Next to him is a kind of portable dog cage. The door to the room opens and an elderly lady walks in. It is the White Lady. She's in her mid-50s, dressed very classy, and wears open white hair. Her entire exterior is white. On her décolleté sits an amulet set into her skin, which glows slightly white-blue. The doctor rises.
Please, Dr. Morden, don't get up. You have something for me.
The doctor opens the dog cage. The known abnormality comes out and has the artifact.
Very good. Thank you, little one.
The White Lady takes the artifact and looks at it.
Is it the right one?
Yes, very good, Dr. Morden. Now we can carry it out. I also have the writings in my possession. When can we start?
I still have 1 or 2 tests to do with the laser, but that should be soon.
Hurry up. I don't have any more time to wait.
I'll be on my way right away, White Lady.
Dr. Morden waves briefly. The White Lady leans back in her chair, enjoying the sight of the artifact in her hands. Early in the morning at the office of Wolf Enterprises CEO Adam O'Brien, Jason lies comfortably on the large conference table, using a jacket as a pillow. Kenny sleeps next to him, snuggled up to Jason. Suddenly, a loud beeping sound is heard. Kenny wakes up and yelps briefly in Jason's direction. Jason wakes up, pets Kenny, and then looks at an open 3D window, which shows a found file. The file displays a secret document with the logo of the large company ATS Technology and a picture of a similar-looking abnormality. O'Brien comes into the office.
Boss, the computer found something.
I heard it. What is it about?
This thing that killed the guards is called abnormality. File B12F15. It was bred on behalf of the multinational corporation as technology. Name of the father of the thing is a certain Dr. Pretorius Morden.
Pretorius Morden. The name rings a bell.
A ringing is to be heard.
O'Brien here.
Mr. O'Brien, Miller here. The police officers are here and they'd like to talk to you because of what happened last night.
Okay, I'll come down.
O'Brien ends the call.
I'll take care of the doctor.
But not alone. Inform Thunder and Bera. Try to find out where Morden lives and pay him a visit. Let the two ladies know I want to talk to him. But tell him to keep their cool.
Will do, boss.
O'Brien walks out of the office towards the elevator. Meanwhile, Jason opens a new window. He looks for the doctor in the phone book, but finds nothing. He continues to search the immigration directory, but finds nothing there either. He looks at Kenny.
Got any more ideas, buddy?
Kenny looks back at him faithfully. Then Jason gets an idea. He reaches for his holophone and calls a friend. A hologram of his friend Jimmy, an African-American teenager about 16 and bald, opens above him.
Jimmy, it's Jason. How are you doing?
Jason, long time no see. Hope the rich life doesn't set in, bro.
You're just jealous.
Of course. I'm sure you're not calling just to wake me and my envy up, though.
Right. I'm sure you know ways to find people who don't want to be found. I have a case like that now.
Give me a name and I'll do my best, bro.
I'm looking for Dr. Pretorius Morden. I can't find anything anywhere.
Noted. I'll get back to you.
Thanks.
Jason hangs up, but immediately redials. He tries to call Thunder, who does not answer. Then he calls Bera. The call takes place without a hologram.
Bera, I have something. Can you and Thunder pick me up at the company?
O'Brien comes out of the elevator into the entrance area of the Wolf Enterprises building. As he does, Miller, the security chief he had conversed with over the phone, approaches him. Miller is a Persian woman in her 40s, dressed in a dark blouse suit.
Mr. O'Brien, the two gentlemen from the police are there.
She is pointing in the direction of the police officers. Two well-dressed policemen greet O'Brien.
Good morning, gentlemen. I assume this is about last night.
In the meantime, Jason goes with Kenny to the elevator. As he enters, Jimmy calls him on the phone. The familiar hologram builds up, and the elevator descends.
Jimmy, do you have something?
Actually, I do have something, bro. I'll text you the address.
Thanks. Tell me, are you by any chance close by?
I'm on the east. Why do you ask?
Can you give me and Kenny a ride to the doctor's address?
Later in the morning, Jimmy and Jason are sitting in an old compact city car. Jimmy is driving. Kenny is sitting in the back seat, looking out the open window.
Thanks for giving me a ride.
No issue. I think it's right and important to help my brother. What's the problem, toy boy?
Why are you calling me toy boy?
You're lucky you got placed with the rich man. Most of us from Baker Street weren't so lucky.
It's no reason to call me toy boy, though. I don't get anything shoved up my backside. I'm lucky enough to have a patron who believes in my talent and encourages me. In return, so to speak, I help him where he needs my help. Even though Mr. O'Brien is doing quite well on his own for a blind man. But he needs help.
Jason's phone rings. It's Thunder. Jason answers it.
Thunder, glad you're calling. Meet me at the corner of Lexington and Raven Avenue. There's a warehouse where we think the abnormalities creator will be. Bring Bera with you.
Some minutes later, Jason and Jimmy arrive at the warehouse. They get out of Jimmy's old city car. Kenny follows them and the two look around the area. It looks deserted. the entrance to the warehouse unguarded. They cautiously approach the entrance gate. The side door is locked with an electronic lock. Jason pulls out a small electronic device, pins it to the door lock, and after 3 seconds, it beeps briefly. The door opens. After Jason puts the device away, Jason and Jimmy, along with Kenny, carefully enter the warehouse. In the warehouse, they find a huge laboratory. In addition to shelves full of various reagents, a large work table, and various strange apparatus, Dr. Morden can be seen. He's working on an abnormality while talking to himself. But it is a bit bigger than the known one. Apparently this creature, which is about 1.40 meters tall, is attached to a cot and seems to have had a new spiked arm transplanted. Dr. Morden does not notice Jason and Jimmy. The two go equally unnoticed by 4 guards sitting at a table. They are dressed like butlers. Very dapper, but with white masks and firearms. 2 are playing cards with each other, while the other 2 butlers are dozing on a bench. In the background is an even considerably larger so-called mega abnormality chained up. This monstrosity is over 2.5 meters tall and additionally scaled. At the sight of the creature, Kenny growls, and Morden notices the 2. He turns to the mega abnormality to let it off the leash.
Hey, you bums!
The 2 card-playing butlers stand up facing in the direction of Jason and Jimmy. Both attempt to escape, but are intercepted and halted by the 2 butlers. Nonetheless, Kenny manages to bite one of the butlers in the leg, causing him to release Jason. Concurrently, Jimmy seizes the vulnerable areas of his assaulter with a firm grasp. With their captors momentarily incapacitated, they both manage to get away. Amidst this chaos, the doctor, who is still in the middle of unleashing the mega abnormality, summons the other 2 butlers, who have just been awakened by the commotion.
Go, catch the 2 bastards!
Jason and Kenny run to the exit. Suddenly, they hear a voice.
Duck down!
They both slide out on their knees, and Bera appears at the door. She has a huge axe with her, which she slams on the floor as hard as she can. Both guards are thrown backwards by the shockwave. The doctor abandons his plan to enchain the mega abnormality and disappears with the other 2 guards towards the rear exit. Bera sees Dr. Morden and tries to follow him, but is called outside by Thunder.
Come on, Bera. We will follow them in the car.
Bera turns and runs out. An SUV jumps sideways onto the road and speeds away. It is the doctor and 2 of his butlers. In the back of the SUV is apparently another abnormality of average size.
Get in.
Thunder takes off with Bera in the convertible in pursuit of the doctor. Jason and Jimmy want to follow them. Jason looks at Jimmy questioningly.
Should we go after them?
Hell yeah!
They both get into Jimmy's city car with Kenny and follow the SUV and the convertible with squealing tires. On the road, Thunder is catching up with the SUV. The abnormality on the back of the SUV tries to hit the car with her spiked weapon. Thunder, however, dodges with zigzagging. It is all too fast for Bera. She is torn between warlike bravery and fear of modern technology. But she overcomes herself and gets out of the vehicle and jumps onto the hood.
What the fuck?
Pull over closer!
Thunder gets closer and closer to Dr. Morden's SUV and rams it from behind. Bera then throws her axe at the moving vehicle, hitting the right tire. The SUV's rear end jumps and flips over, but Thunder reacts directly and slams on the brake. Bera is being catapulted out of the car while she hits the SUV in midair. She jumps directly over the car, flying forward, and lands on her legs with the axe in her hand. At the same time, the car lands on the roof and slowly comes to a stop with a slide. Thunder runs to the scene.
I hope nothing happened to the doctor.
I'm fine, thanks.
Thunder blasts open the car door with a charge of energy that shoots out of her fingers like tiny lightning bolts. The doctor's head is bleeding. The two guards and the abnormality are unconscious.
What do you want from me? Who are you?
What? He doesn't know me? Idiot.
You're coming with me to see Mr. O'Brien.
Later in the afternoon, Dr. Morden is sitting in a blue, silver, and futuristic-looking room. Also in the room are Bera and Thunder. O'Brien and Jason enter. O'Brien sits down at the table.
Thank you very much. Please, leave the room and wait outside.
Everyone walks out the front door.
Good afternoon, Dr. Morden. It's been a long time.
Yes, a very long time, Mr. O'Brien.
Meanwhile, two butlers are standing in the White Room. The White Lady's watching the news on the tablet. A newscaster is reporting on a traffic accident, and Dr. Morden's wrecked SUV can be seen. The White Lady sends out the two butlers who are present.
Get the limousine, we drive to Wolf Enterprises.
In the interrogation room, O'Brien and Morden sit across from each other. Both remain quiet until Dr. Morden breaks the silence. He takes a pack of cigarettes from his breast pocket.
May I?
O'Brien nods.
Tell me, what drives you to do such a thing?
Interesting question. I would say you are a highly gifted handler.
I'll pass on the compliment. But you weren't brought here just for a chat or to reminisce about the good old days. You're working on something.
Morden nods and puts the cigarette he's dug out into his mouth.
It's something big, right? It has something to do with my father's experiments.
In a way, yes. But I have to say your father's results were just the starting point. The real masterpiece for further development was mine.
Dr. Morden lights a cigarette with a lighter from a cigarette pack.
Yes, I can sense your arrogance. For a moment, please be a decent rogue and reveal your master plan. Would you, Dr. Morden?
You wouldn't believe how much I would like to do that. But there are people who don't want that.
Dr. Morden exhales the first puff of a cigarette.
Then just tell me what you're going to do with the artifact. Do you want to go back in time? To the future? What is it?
Future? Past? Believe me, the White Lady has clearly bigger things in mind.
The White Lady?
Dr. Morden feels he has spilled the truth. O'Brien looks intensely at Dr. Morden, then he finally gets it, and O'Brien abruptly turns into a shade of red. Suddenly, Dr. Morden feels like he is seeing O'Brien twice, but the two images vibrate in another. O'Brien uses the power of the minimal leap in time. Dr. Morden is sitting with the cigarette in his mouth and is about to light it.
So, what's your master plan?
You wouldn't believe how much I would like to tell you, but there are people who don't want me to.
The White Lady.
Dr. Morden is surprised and chokes as he inhales the first puff of a cigarette and begins to cough. How do you know that?
I know more than you think I do. So, let's continue, shall we?
In the meanwhile, Bera and Thunder are standing outside the interrogation room. Jason is just leaving with his dog Kenny to go for a walk.
But only for a little while, Kenny. You always have to pee when things get exciting.
Thunder gets bored and looks around the room and seems to ignore Bera.
What's your problem?
What's my problem? I'm sitting here waiting for nothing. I have signed contracts. If I keep wasting my time here, another young girl will come and take my parts away.
You don't like me.
What makes you think that? I always pick you up. It would benefit you if you become more independent.
I love being around people. I had a big family and many friends back then.
Yeah. To be honest, I can't relate to you. Fine. You work for O'Brien and you have your power. But in terms of human, not really.
Was Mara Sander ever loved?
Love? That's nobody's business. And definitely not yours. I have to go to the bathroom. So I just say one thing to wrap up this conversation. If everyone would take care of themselves, everyone would be taken care of.
Thunder walks towards the restroom. Bera shakes her head and looks after her. At this moment, a white limousine pulls up and stops in front of the Wolf Enterprises building. 5 butlers get out, including the 2 who were to get the limousine, with one holding the door open for the white lady. The 6 enter the building, with the white lady striding ahead. They walk straight to the elevator and get in. O'Brien and Dr. Morden are still sitting across from each other in the interrogation room. Dr. Morden's cigarette is almost smoked out, and there's an ashtray in front of him, with ash in it.
What do you plan to do with the artifact?
The white lady can tell you herself.
Oh, she will when I'm done with you. Where do I find her?
You'll never find her until we open the gate.
Dr. Morden puts out a cigarette in the ashtray. O'Brien looks at Dr. Morden, and it begins to flicker around O'Brien, and he suddenly turns into a shade of red. Again, Dr. Morden sees O'Brien twice, and the 2 images vibrate in another. Dr. Morden has the stub of the cigarette in his mouth again, which has not yet been put out in the ashtray.
You want to open a gate with the artifact. Not to the past and not to the future.
Exactly.
Tell me, is it a gateway into the 4th dimension?
Dr. Morden is silent.
How are they going to activate the dimensional gate using the artifact?
Dr. Morden continues to be silent and stubs out a cigarette butt in the ashtray. O'Brien looks at Dr. Morden, and again it begins to flicker around O'Brien, and he suddenly turns into a shade of red. Again, Dr. Morden sees O'Brien twice, and the 2 images vibrate into each other. Dr. Morden has the stub of the cigarette in his mouth.
The artifact is used to open dimensional gates. What does the white lady hope to achieve by using it?
As it is always with gates. Either you want to send something through,
or you want to get something out of it. I see. How are you going to activate the artifact?
I'm not going to tell you that.
Dr. Morden stubs out a cigarette butt in the ashtray. O'Brien looks at Dr. Morden, and again it begins to flicker around O'Brien, and he suddenly turns into a shade of red. Again, Dr. Morden sees O'Brien twice, and the 2 images vibrate into each other. Dr. Morden again has the stub of the cigarette in his mouth.
You want to open a dimensional gate to bring something here. How are you going to activate the artifact?
How do you think? With the help of?
The white lady comes out of the elevator and goes straight to the interrogation room. Bera sees the white lady approaching with her butlers. The white lady stops in front of Bera, who blocks the door.
You can't go in there.
Thunder sits on the toilet seat and looks relieved. The white lady comes through the door of the interrogation room. O'Brien gets up directly and slaps his expensive-looking wristwatch with the palm of his hand. He transforms into Timeless immediately after that. Through small time distortions that flicker around him, red and blue elements fan out to surround and cover him. A short time later, he's wearing a sleek superhero costume. His formerly white eyes have now turned bright blue and seem alive again. But the white lady raises her hand and everything stands still. No one, including Timeless, moves anymore and is frozen in motion. Normal movement can be seen near the white lady. She touches Dr. Morden, who then moves again.
Come on, Doctor. We've wasted enough time.
The white lady stops just in front of Timeless. She whispers something to him.
Forgive me.
The white lady and Dr. Morden walk out of the interrogation room. Outside the interrogation room, everything remains frozen in a standstill. The white lady reaches out and touches her 5 henchmen, the butlers, who promptly regain their ability to move. Among them is one who was moments away from being struck by Bera's axe. After the white lady, Dr. Morden, and the butlers make their escape, they vanish into the elevator and its doors seal shut behind them. In the interrogation room, Timeless abruptly moves again, even though everything around him remains frozen. He walks towards Bera, and soon after, she also regains her ability to move. Shortly after, Thunder returns from the bathroom and appears puzzled by the scene before her.
Did I miss something?
Bera and O'Brien look at her.
What happened here?
Big trouble.
Timeless?
The doctor has disappeared. Something bad is going to happen if we don't get hold of the artifact.
Jason comes over with Kenny.
Wow, this is where it went down. O'Brien is timeless? Was that your last time on the Street Gang story? Please tell me, what happened?
No time for stories. Does anyone else know about the men in black or the woman in white?
We can find out where they are.
How?
When I was walking with Kenny, a man looked pretty familiar. He was dressed like the guys from the doctor's office. I put two and two together, grabbed my phone, activated the GPS, and placed it by the vehicle. I hope no one would find it.
Well done, kid. We should find them. Now.
They head to O'Brien's office where Jason, Timeless, Bera, and Thunder gather around a 3D projection displaying GPS data. A map of the city reveals a moving dot directing southeast. While engrossed in the data, Kenny attempts to get Bera's attention by playfully jumping up her leg, but she ignores him.
The red dots indicate the stop they made, including one at the doctor's house. However, the car halted in the southeast area.
I think I know where that is. Jason, Bera, Thunder, you're going to pay the doctor a visit again.
I don't think the doctor is foolish enough to go there again after what happened.
I don't think so either, but please go there anyways. Search everything for clues as to where, how, and most importantly, why the artifact is being put into operation.
And you?
Heading southeast.
Thunder, Bera, Jason, and Kenny set off. Only Timeless is still standing in front of the projection, looking thoughtfully at the GPS point. Later in the afternoon, they arrive at Dr. Morden's warehouse, and Bera and Thunder take the lead. Entering through the door that Jason had already opened, Jason follows closely behind them with Kenny by his side. As they step inside, everyone proceeds cautiously, scanning their surroundings carefully.
Why does Timeless want to go to that place alone?
I'm not sure, but it would be better if we kept the conversation to a minimum. Or even better, not at all.
Bera sees the open chains of the mega abnormality.
This is where that mega thing was, right?
Probably got it quickly.
Bera, you sound sad. He must have been the one for you, right?
Jason notices a laptop on one of the tables. As he starts exploring its contents, he is suddenly startled by the sound of a ringing cell phone, which belongs to Thunder.
Elijah, this is a bad time for a call.
You've got appointments.
I told you to cancel everyone for this week. As usual, I have to do everything myself.
No, you didn't tell me to cancel all the appointments. Shall I?
Yes, please. And you can do one more thing for me.
Meanwhile, Jason tries several passwords as the laptop system is password protected. Just as he's in the middle of attempting to gain access, Bera enters the room.
Looks difficult.
No, not really.
As Thunder enters, having finished her conversation with Elijah, she finds Jason successful in cracking the password at the very moment. The system is now open and accessible.
Et voila!
Jason carefully examines the data displayed on the computer screen, paying close attention to the information presented. In the late afternoon inside the White Room of the White Lady's lair, she sits comfortably in one of the two armchairs, gazing intently at the artifact lying before her. While doing so, she picks up a tablet and uses it to make a video phone call to Dr. Morden.
Say something, Doctor. What does it look like?
It's hard to say. It may be the case that it works.
Good. Load everything in. We will try it out today.
What? Today?
You heard me. You know the meeting place.
After ending the call, another voice in the room gets the White Lady's attention. It is Timeless, who stands right behind her. Upon hearing him, the White Lady rises from her chair.
How long were you going to let me believe you're dead?
You recognized me, didn't you?
Of course I did. What's happening, Mom?
What do you mean? The artifact?
What do you need it for?
It has a power that is unimaginable. It has given me a power that I can use. The power to freeze time when and where I want.
I don't understand, Mom. All those years, Dad and I thought you were dead.
Oh, damn, the last few years have been very hard for me. If I had known another way to protect you and Magnus, don't you think I would have used it? I had to protect your lives. You would have been killed if I hadn't gone underground. As hard as it was for me, it was the only way.
Who would have killed us? What are you talking about?
You deserve the truth, my son. I was an agent. I was supposed to spy on your father and gather information on secret company projects. But the better I got to know Magnus, the more I actually fell in love with him. Love wasn't an act, ever. When I learned about and gained access to files and information on wormhole travel and transport technologies, I couldn't share that data. I knew that if my clients did not hear from me, they would come and kill me and my family. Therefore, I disappeared and faked my death.
That's treason. Not just to me or to the company and its employees, but above all to Dad. Did he know about this?
No.
And what about you and Dr. Morden now? What are you planning to do with the artifact?
What happened to you, Adam?
An accident. A time travel experiment went wrong. In an explosion that proved fatal for Dad, I got some splinters in my eye. I went blind.
But now you can see?
No. I just recognized that the woman standing in front of me used to be my mother.
Please understand me. I have to do it because it's my last chance to live. You see, I'm dead.
What? What do you mean?
I have a fatal disease that affects the heart. I have a kind of amulet on my heart, which keeps me alive, but not for long. The best doctors can't help me. And that's where we come to the artifact.
What?
Have you ever heard of Natus? Some kind of deity in ancient times. In his lifetime, he was probably also a doctor. Only he can heal me, so tonight we'll try the first contact, the first attempt to bring him into this, our world.
No, don't do it, Mom. You have no idea what you're doing.
The white lady raises her hand and gestures, causing time to once again come to a standstill. Behind Timeless, one of the 5 butlers emerges. Timeless guessed the maneuver and was thus able to prevent his own freezing.
It's no use, Mom. I'm immune to it.
Timeless gets struck in the head by the butler and goes KO.
I'm sorry, Adam, but unfortunately, it's already decided and I want to live a little longer.
The white lady walks out with the butler and closes the door. Timeless is left unconscious in the room. Elijah gracefully maneuvers her motorcycle to a stop in front of the white lady's immaculate residence. The building itself is a striking display of white architecture. At that moment, the 5 butlers come out with the white lady. The white lady gets into the white limousine with the butlers, which then drives out of the open garage. Elijah ducks as it passes her. When the white lady's limousine has taken off, Elijah turns off her motorcycle and walks towards the house. She looks around cautiously. Near the front door, a small abnormality similar to the burglar abnormality sits and watches her. Elijah manages to sneak into the house through the closing garage door. The abnormality doesn't make it in time and gets annoyed. Elijah looks around in the white room. The whole house is decorated in white. Suddenly, from one room, she hears someone kicking and pushing against the door. Elijah approaches the noise At that moment, Timeless manages to get the door open. He is surprised to see Elijah.
Elijah? What are you doing here?
Thunder asked me to pick you up here. I just saw the people coming out. Are you alright?
No time for a doctor. Call your boss. We got a problem.
In the warehouse, Thunder's cell phone breaks the silence. Bera and Jason look at it questioningly while Thunder answers the call.
It's always good to put the phone on speakerphone.
It's Elijah. She found Timeless. It was a little bit more violent. I guess the white lady's up to something bigger than we thought. She disappeared and no one knows where. We're supposed to meet.
Kenny starts barking several times, which catches Jason's attention. Kenny starts jumping up Jason's pants.
Hold on, my phone.
Jason goes to his phone and opens a 3D program. A street map materializes before his eyes, a network of pathways and intersections with a moving red dot.
Of course, the white lady left in the limo. I know where she went.
Where?
Up north, out of town. If I'm not wrong, there's a huge junkyard there, right where the red dot stops now.
Where exactly?
Foreman's junkyard, about 30 miles north of Silentville.
Well, let's go, Elijah. I will meet you there.
Everyone moves toward the exit of the warehouse. It is evening. The sun goes down at the Dimension facility in the junkyard. The white lady is on her way to Dr. Morden, who is adjusting something at a larger structure in the junkyard. The structure consists of 2 large poles, a large mixing console, including various technical equipment, touch monitors, and a large satellite dish.
Are you finished, Doctor?
Yes, but let me warn you again. It has not been rehearsed.
Yes, it has been tried once, with success.
The white lady looks at the artifact standing next to the equipment at Dr. Morden's place. She takes it and hands it to him. Dr. Morden grabs it and puts it in a drawer on the computer, which opens by itself. The artifact is picked up by a scan. Some kind of satellite dish aligns. The computer comes to life. Dr. Morden taps some keys and the satellite dish aligns itself to the sky. Some kind of laser beam, the diameter of the satellite dish, builds up and shoots into the sky. The spectacle is watched in amazement by Dr. Morden, the white lady and the butlers. Suddenly the earth begins to tremble. Outside the junkyard, Elijah and Timeless are waiting with Elijah's motorcycle when Thunder's convertible comes racing around the corner. It comes to a screeching halt as Thunder, Bera and Jason exit the car. Jason indicates to Kenny that he'd better stay in the vehicle.
Stay here, Kenny. We'll have a real steak for that tomorrow, too.
A sudden tremor startles the group.
This is not normal, is it?
Not in Sweden, but here it is.
In the sky, a spooky cloud formation builds up, stretching quickly and determinedly over the junkyard. Red lightning flashes out of it.
There you go, my favorite weather.
But this is not normal either.
But for me, this is as normal as drinking water.
Elijah quickly retrieves the crossbow from its holder on her motorcycle.
Are we too late?
I think just in time. Elijah, have you finally done what I paid you to do?
Elijah appears with a crossbow, just stylishly puts in an arrow and cocks it.
I think one more woman would be good, don't you?
Enough talking. Let's do this.
The whole area at the Dimension facility has gone completely dark. The team consisting of Bera, Thunder, Timeless, Jason and Elijah watches the spectacle from a safe hiding place. Meanwhile, the white lady and the butlers have left the dimensional facility again, and Dr. Morden is in the process of making some calibrations to the facility. The laser beam from the satellite system, which shines into the sky, slowly opens a dimensional portal about 5 meters above ground. Within it, a human-like silhouette can be glimpsed, which seems to be covered with countless tentacles.
Natas!
A sense of awe sweeps over everyone present, their faces mirroring astonishment. Everyone except Bera. With a determined grip on her axe, she lets out a fierce roar, charging recklessly toward Natus. Now everyone is warned. Timeless tries to stop her. Thunder swiftly halts him.
It's showtime.
Dr. Morden notices the onrushing bearer, moves away from the dimension facility, and suddenly whistles. Instantly, the colossal figure of the mega abnormality, the same one encountered in the warehouse, emerges from behind a heap of debris. It approaches the team with Dr. Morden lurking in the backdrop. Furthermore, crimson lightning flashes in the sky. Thunder, who is facing the mega abnormality, extends her arms into the sky. The lightning strikes her hands, and the energy of the lightning surrounds her like St. Elmo's fire, as she tries to channel those energies and hurl them at the mega abnormality with an outstretched hand gesture. The mega abnormality is struck by the energies of the lightning, loses movement, and seems momentarily confused. In the background, Dr. Morden's composure falters briefly before he summons another sharp whistle, signaling a subsequent turn of events.
Close the portal. Destroy everything.
Amidst the chaos, suddenly a second mega abnormality appears from behind more trash in the back of the team. Thunder approaches Dr. Morden, trying to continue absorbing new lightning energy and continually slither in at the first mega abnormality to keep it at bay. Simultaneously, Jason tries to approach the dimensional gate. As he arrives, he makes his way to the console to turn it off again. But just before he succeeds, he is knocked out with a blow to the back of the head by the White Lady, who suddenly appears behind him. Timeless, who was first about to face the second mega abnormality along with Elijah, is suddenly attacked by the 5 butlers. He fights back by creating advantages for himself with small time warps. Thus, after attacking one of the butlers using his martial arts, he can dodge their attacks at an accelerated rate, as if the butlers were slowed down when counterattacking. This makes it seem as if Timeless is making small time jumps, confounding his attackers. Bera, on the other hand, tries to reach Natus, but is prevented from doing so by another normal-sized abnormality that suddenly appears. A fight between the two ensues. Bera fights with her axe, while the creature tries to fight back with its outgrowths, and at the same time tries to hurt Bera with its teeth. Abruptly, the creature stops, leaving Bera perplexed. She sees the abnormality's eyes suddenly turn fiery red-black, and the creature transforms into Natus, as he is familiar to the viewer from the Viking drawings.
Was my you do not stop me, Viking Hure?
He effortlessly kills Bera by breaking her neck and laughs out loud. Thunder, who could observe this but could not get there in time because she is in battle with a mega abnormality, remains rooted to the spot. Suddenly, Natus is hit in the head by an arrow. Thunder sees Elijah rushing towards Natus as she cocks another arrow in her crossbow. Thunder gets angry at the death of Bera and wants to help Elijah fight Natus. She uses a squall created by hand movement and effort to disable the mega abnormality she is currently still fighting. For Natus, the arrow from Elijah doesn't seem to be a problem, because he pulls it out of his head again without showing any pain. Elijah is almost at Natus, and just before she could fire her second shot, Natus hurls the first arrow back at Elijah. This one pierces her ribcage to make her collapse. Thunder, who by now is moving toward Natus, is shocked and stands still. She looks around. Bera is dead, Elijah is badly injured, Jason is out of action, and Timeless is threatening to be overpowered by the remaining 2 butlers. Thunder hears words in her mind that she had heard from Bera.
Bera is a fellow human being. I had a big family and many friends.
Thunder is now alone, and must now rise above herself to still avert the inevitable. She rears back, and a massive whirlwind comes up.
Fucking asshole. I finally had the family, and then you come along. Eat this.
The whirlwind seems to cost them insane amounts of strength. However, just before this can drop its force on Natus, the latter turns to Thunder. At that moment, Thunder is tied up by a tentacle that suddenly grows out of the ground.
I'll deal with you later.
The tentacle shackles continue to tighten until Thunder almost passes out. Natus turns away from her again and he enjoys his approaching victory. The earth cracks around him and the tentacles from the portal grow into it. Another earthquake occurs and the skyline of the city in the background begins to change. Skyscrapers collapse and are crushed by tentacles. Natus turns around, facing the White Lady.
Natus, God of the All-Ancients, I greet you.
White Lady, what do you want?
I have set you free.
And now you expect gratitude from me?
Yes, because I brought you into this world. And you can have what you want. Only one thing. Heal me.
That's right. There's something inside you. It's causing you pain.
And it's easy for you to take away that pain.
Yes, I could. But maybe in a different way from what you think. Even death is a salvation, and that's all a God is willing to help you with.
Natus, I beg you.
Enough, you get me bored.
At the snap of Natus' fingers, a tentacle rips out of the ground and rushes towards the White Lady. Dr. Morden, who had been watching the scenario speechless, jumps in between the two to protect the White Lady. His courageous act, however, results in a tragic fate. The tentacle impales and extinguishes his life. The tentacle rises again and Dr. Morden drops lifeless to the ground. The tentacle rushes towards the White Lady to finally kill her. Timeless suddenly jumps in between and pulls the White Lady out of the way of the approaching tentacle. An even heavier earthquake rips open a huge chasm. Natus stands suspended above it all, laughing. Timeless and the White Lady start freeing Thunder from the tentacle snares, while Natus sets about opening the time travel portal completely. He turns toward the gate and appears to be performing some sort of ritual incantation. As he does so, he's grinning demonically. At the moment when the portal has opened wide enough to swallow the entire Earth, the White Lady and Timeless manage to free Thunder. Thunder uses her powers to make everyone, including the unconscious Jason, float away from the scene with a small gust of wind. The world is on the brink and Natus is about to engulf the world through the tentacles from the dimensional gate. From distance, behind a pile of junk, near the Dimension facility, the team observes it. Thunder picks himself up exhausted while Jason is still unconscious. Timeless helps his mother up. Both look at each other speechless. Suddenly, the White Lady looks at her amulet in her chest. While Timeless obviously understands, she reacts panicked and sad at the same time. The White Lady guides his hand and leads it to the white-blue amulet in her cleavage.
Destroy the amulet. Absorb the power that this amulet possesses. Do it, my son, and try to save the world.
But that means your death.
I know, but my time is up anyway. Do it, quickly!
Timeless tears the amulet from her chest while his mother holds his other hand. In the process, she ages rapidly and then crumbles to dust before Timeless' eyes. Timeless has no other option but to fulfill his mother's last will and testament. At this moment, Natus comes around the corner. Thunder realizes that now is the time to sacrifice herself for the community and confront Natus without any other weapons. She now faces a final exhausting battle as she continues to channel and summon lightning bolts which strike Natus. He notices it, but seems relatively unimpressed by it. He is also surrounded by increasingly strong winds. He grabs Thunder. Jason, meanwhile awake, supports Timeless, who is in tears and tries to concentrate on a leap in time. Thunder can't withstand it for long. She turns to Timeless as Natus puts his hands around her neck.
Save family and friends!
Natus chokes Thunder until she dies. As Timeless is about to enter the time vortex, Jason sees the Earth being completely engulfed by the portal. 5 minutes earlier in the time vortex at the Dimension facility. Timeless travels through a wide blue-red tunnel back into the past, holding his mother's amulet in his hand. Suddenly he appears standing in front of his mother again. At this point, two amulets coexist. The Timeless from the future has to make the decision to rip the amulet out of his mother's chest by force as he stands in front of her.
You understand what's happening now. I hate having to do this.
So I can see your father again.
Give him my best regards.
Thereupon he takes actions. He rips the amulet out of her chest. A tear runs down Timeless' cheek. Shortly after, he notices that the scenario has been observed by the Timeless of the current present, as well as by Thunder, Bera, Elijah, and Jason along with Kenny, who have apparently just arrived at the junkyard. The Timeless of the present joins the Timeless from the future. Both look at each other.
I can guess why you did it. Are you from the future? Yes. From 5 minutes ago. What's going to happen in 5 minutes? Well, game over.
He makes a movement with his hands like an explosion. The present Timeless then turns to his team.
Let's go. Let's stop Morden.
The Timeless of the present approaches the Timeless of the future and shakes his hand. The moment they touch, a shockwave occurs. Only one Timeless remains, and he chases directly after the team. Dr. Morden stands at the Dimension facility making adjustments. He then grasps the nearby artifact lying next to him and puts it into a drawer on the computer, which opens automatically. The artifact is scanned. A kind of satellite dish aligns itself. The computer comes to life. With a couple of key taps, the satellite dish aligns itself to the sky. Some kind of laser beam, the diameter of the satellite dish, builds up and shoots into the sky. He notices the team approaching and whistles for the two mega abnormalities who had apparently been nearby.
Stop them! Don't let them go to the facility!
Bera, Elijah, and Thunder attack the mega abnormalities. One is attacked by Bera, the second by Thunder and Elijah. Elijah provides fire protection with the crossbow so Timeless and Jason can advance to Dr. Morden. Timeless successfully makes contact, freezing Dr. Morden in time. Meanwhile, Jason manages to get to the drawer and opens it. Kenny, who has been following him, jumps in, grabs the artifact like a bone and runs away with it. Jason and Timeless follow him. Thunder has paralyzed her mega abnormality with lightning, allowing Elijah to fire a fatal shot at it. Simultaneously, Bera wields her axe with deadly precision, swiftly severing the head of her adversary. Thunder's rising thunderstorm then discharges into the Dimension facility, illuminating the space with a blinding flash of lightning. The structure begins to crumble. As the debris hurtles towards them, Dr. Morden, just rousing from his trance, is unable to evade the impending catastrophe and is tragically crushed beneath the weight. Silence falls. The team stands still, surveying the aftermath. A sense of somber relief washes over them, realizing that they averted the world's destruction. But the price was high. No one feels like cheering.
Let's head back home.
The team turns and leaves. Kenny growls at the mega abnormality's decapitated head as he walks away. A few days later, blind Adam O'Brien stands at the grave of his parents, where his mother now lies as well.
I hope you found your peace, Mom. I had so many more questions for you. I regret that I won't get the opportunity to tell you how much I love you. At least be with Dad wherever you may be and rest in peace.
He places a bouquet of roses on the grave. Later at the evening, Thunder, Bera, Elijah, Jason, Jimmy, and O'Brien celebrate their victory sitting together at a table in the Marris pub. The rude bartender Cannon serves them with nachos and drinks.
Thanks, Cannon.
Cannon, with a blush on his face, smiles back in love.
For you, it's pleasure. Who get the cocktail?
It's mine.
Cannon puts the drinks down and leaves. Barrow looks after him.
To the birth of the best team in the world ever.
Everyone toasts together.
Cheers!
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 Goal!
To the best team in the world.
Kenny, sitting in front of the table, starts yapping and getting wilder. Jason decides to grab and walk him out.
Come on, kid.
Outside of Mary's pub, Jason looks deeply into the dog's eyes. Suddenly, he breaks Kenny's neck and drops him.
To the best team in the world.
His eyes glow red-black, like Nade's. The end?